Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction for Chainsaw Man. We're going through chapters 23, 24, and 25 this time. Like I said, for all these manga videos, and like read-throughs in general, I'm gonna just try to stick to 3 chapters a video. That way I can do things more often since the videos aren't quite as long. But if I can't stop reading after 3 and I've gotta go further, then I will. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of stick to 3. I'm kind of turning this into a manga reading day, hopefully, so I'm really excited to read this and all the other stuff I want to record after it. And getting to start things off with Chainsaw Man. We ended last time on the cliffhanger of Makima. Again, I always question myself, Makima or Majima, but pretty nearly 100% sure it's Makima. We ended with seeing her apparently be killed, but I'm fairly certain that she's important enough a character that I don't know how she's not dead. I don't know the mechanics by which she is going to turn out to actually be alive, but I totally don't believe that she's dead. I feel like for some of you, like maybe that lessens the reaction a bit because it's like, what if I did believe she was dead? Then I'd have a big like, oh my god, she's still alive whenever it's revealed. But here's the thing, I've read One Piece, so One Piece has like destroyed my brain to the point where anytime I see a character die, I'm just like, oh, they're not actually dead. Like they have to really be extra dead for me to actually believe it. But yeah, either way, let's get into actually reading here with chapter 23. And chapter 23 is titled Gunfire. And we're starting off, they're eating, those types of dumplings are so good. They're eating dumplings, looks like they're at some sort of ramen shop, and it's Himeno Power Denji Inaki. Alright. We see some of the usual types of people that they work with investigating, it looks like. We see, I forget his name already. Arai? Was it Arai? And, Kobani. Alright. Still seeing. And again, I love how so much of the story of Chainsaw Man is told through the art. There's like so much where we don't get any dialogue and it's just told through the art. And as they're walking away from this lady, it looks like they were questioning and maybe asking for directions or asking if she knows where something might be on the map. But as she's walking away, she reaches into her coat and pulls out the blicky on them, pointing it right at the back of Arai's head. And then, oh, this is interesting. So we cut back to those same panels with the other agents from before, but they're all having people pull guns on them as well. And of course, like, all the gun violence makes you think, is it related to the gun devil? Interesting! And we have this panel of a guy walking his dog as shots ring out in the background. Again, I love how so much of this is just told through context and the art, rather than having to explain every little thing. What was that noise? Says, Denji. Don't you know? What a fool. 'Tis the sound of taiko drums. A festival? Hey, did you two truly not copulate yesterday? Denji's actually quite the gentleman, and we can assume from the wording that that's Power speaking. And then we have another dude off in the background. I can't believe you can eat the ramen here. Doesn't it taste terrible? Who's he? Tastes fine to me. Don't speak to me so familiarly. I see you can't judge the quality of flavors. You can't help it, though. If you only eat the same flavors in your childhood, apparently your palate will be unrefined as an adult. Having an unrefined palate lowers happiness. Hey, I'm happy. I feel like it would be the opposite. If you're like, oh, it tastes good to me, it tastes fine to me, even if food isn't that good, like, wouldn't you just be much happier? Because everything tastes fine? Shall we leave? My granddad was the kindest man in the world. Just this random dude giving his exposition. He fed me good food at expensive restaurants. He was a Yakuza, but he was a Yakuza with principles. People like my granddad, maybe you'd call them a necessary evil. I'm told he only killed a handful of women and children. He'd buy me anything I wanted with the drug money. He was a true Tokyoite and a good man who everybody loved. You loved him too, didn't you, Denji? I am confused. So this is obviously him as a kid, I guess, with an old man. What are you getting at? You know him? The gun devil says it wants your heart. And he pulls a gun and shoots Denji. And it looks like another shot. I don't know if that's still just the splatter from Denji getting shot in the head or if Aki also gets hit in the arm. It looks like blood might be coming from it, so he might also have gotten hit in the arm, and we have Himeno seemingly dodging out of the way, or maybe even getting pulled out of the way from behind by Power, who charges the guy. And she uppercuts him. Top knot. And then Kon, he uses the Fox Devil. And it bursts through the entire side of the building. They look back at Denji, who's down. And Himeno actually got hit in the chest. Aki Hayakawa, you've put something monstrous in my mouth. It is not a human or deva, and then it gets cut off as it slices through the fox. This is insanity. Holy hell, I'm getting chills. This came out of nowhere seemingly after last chapter. Things have escalated just exponentially quickly. This is nuts. So it seems like all of the agents are being attacked at once. The people are using guns. And if this guy is with them, he said the gun devil wants your heart, so they're working with the gun devil then probably. But he tears his way out. And he is, and they, oh man, yeah, so he has to be like Denji then, because he said he's not a devil or a human. So he has to be like Denji then. But Denji's in a weird spot, because they said fiends like Power are corpses that are inhabited by devils, and I'm like, well, Denji died in chapter 1, so doesn't that mean he's a fiend? He's a corpse inhabited by a devil. But apparently the way that Pochta became his heart or whatever is like different. So this also has to be different, I guess. But he's like swords or blades or knives maybe. Which I mentioned before is probably like, you know, on the scarier end of things. But he cuts his way out of the Fox Devil. Interesting, and I'm pretty sure we know devils are like extremely hard to actually kill. So the Fox Devil's probably okay. Power, stop Himeno's bleeding. And Aki quickly pulls the sword out. Sorry, I always try to, I mentioned this once before if any of you are wondering. I mentioned before that people have commented that they have like visual impairments or difficulty reading on their own, so they like watching like read through videos and stuff to like help them go through manga and comics and stuff. So I always try to be like extra cognizant that I'm not just going, oh, that was neat, oh, that was neat, and I feel like that's less descriptive and less good for a video anyway. I always try to like sort of put what I'm seeing on screen into words during my reaction of it. That way just, I mean, it helps people follow along too, since I'm not allowed to actually show the manga. Or again, I think Chainsaw Man Shueisha or Shueisha would break my kneecaps. So yeah, he pulls out the sword immediately, and that's it. That's the end. We have the little, because I'm reading on the like volume release version, we have the shot of Poached at the end as it getting shot in the head. But yeah, either way, incredibly good chapter. That escalated extremely quickly. I'm gonna try not to say the same thing 50 times in a video, but I love how so much of the chapter was just told through the action and the art on screen. So yeah, this guy knew this old man, and the old man apparently knew Denji. Is he? I don't remember what the people from chapter 1 looked like. I'll be real honest with you. He could be one of the deader guys from like chapter 1 or something from Denji's backstory, but I don't remember what they looked like. I'll be real with you. So yeah, and I even went back and like reread chapter 1 and stuff too. So I've read it more than once, but yeah, I do not recall if that's what he looked like. So he could have been one of those guys. But apparently this guy, he loved his grandfather, even though his grandfather killed women and children and stuff. He's like, but he's a good man, and of course that's like a usual contradiction that tons of people in the real world make for people that are good to them but are terrible in general overall. Um, yeah, that was so cool. That was really neat. And again, assuming Denji's not dead, we know it's hard to kill devils, and he's like a devil person hybrid, I guess. Um, and again, it's interesting that we add the fox devil, say specifically, this isn't a human or a devil. So that not only tells us about what the blade, sword, knife guy is all about, but it also gives us more hints into Denji, our main character himself, which is neat. But yeah, either way, we got 2 more to read. Let's go ahead and read 24. The first page of chapter 24 starts with Aki and the blade, and it says, Chapter 24, Curse. A spike. Oh yeah, the sword he pulls out is like more of a spike than a sword. A spike. And we see, it looks as though I don't know what to call him yet, the sword devil or blade, knife, I don't know what to call him yet, but he charges forward and rushes Aki. Aki dodges below his slices and is able to either stab him in the back or at least line up the spike against his back and yells fire. Oh? And we have a finger flicking the spike. Interesting. So whatever, like they said, he using the sword is a bad thing, it takes up a lot or whatever. But it's interesting. It's so it's not like a sword devil or something like you would think, but it's something different, whatever the finger belongs to. And it flicks the blade forward to thrust through him. 3. Alright. Okay. He turns around and continues his attack. Fire. So I wonder if that's how many shots he gets or something. And he's able to stab entirely through his shoulder again. And then 2. Fire. And he's able to stab through his abdomen this time. 1. And then it seems as though Aki gets blown back away from him. Okay. I've had enough of that creepy thing. Curse, finish it. So is that the curse devil, I guess? 0. And then the hand grabs on to the blade guy. That is such a cool design. We have these bones forming up around him and biting into him. That is such a cool design. And he's seemingly taken out. He's laying on the ground, but we've seen how resilient Denji is. So given that this guy's probably had his powers for even longer, we can assume it's going to take much more to deal with him. How's Himeno? She needs a doctor. Fast, says Power. And then, that guy had a gun, even though they're impossible to obtain in Japan unless you're a police officer or a devil hunter. The gun devil says it wants your heart. First, we'll get Himeno medical treatment. And then, they see somebody with white hair. You're cursed, devil. Run someone through with that spike enough times and they'll die. Is that the gist of it? Nice moves on your part. Where did you come from? Are you with him? And they walk up to the blade guy and stand him back up. Alright. Why'd you lose? I had my guard down. I really had my guard down. Well, get on with it. Kill him. And he charges Aki again. He pulls the spike out, but the blade guy runs past him. We see the sweat pouring down, Power reacting, and he gets sliced. Honestly, so he gets sliced. I hope he's alright. I like Aki. But, honestly, I was kind of thinking that when the person said, I can't tell if it's a guy or a girl yet, when they said kill him, I was kind of thinking that maybe the reason Aki looked so worried was that he was going to rush Denji to try to like finish him, because I would assume that Denji is likely their Sorry, I just get to the last page and see the sweaty Pochta with blood running out of its head. Um, I was thinking he was gonna rush Denji because that's they said the Gun Devil wants your heart. That's likely what they're after. So you would think the Chainsaw Devil, like other devils, have a past with the Chainsaw Devil. It seems Pochta is the Chainsaw Devil. We don't know how strong Pochta. I can't wait for the Pochta backstory where we find out what Pochta's relationship with all these other devils were. Again, you would think as the Chainsaw Devil, it's probably really powerful because it's, you know, conventionally scary. Um, that's so interesting. I want to know what that backstory is, how they ended up living with Denji throughout his childhood, like how this all came to be. Because Poached is just this like cute little doggo form, and I don't know. It's interesting. Why was it in that form? And all these other devils have like actual like, you know, sentience. Like they're not like animals or pets or mascot characters. They talk at the level of a human at least. They consider themselves, if you take power for example, above humans. So, and again, when Denji was dying, we had Pochta's words coming to him. So could Pochta talk like that if Pochta wanted to that entire time? But yeah, either way, we still have another chapter to get to. Let's read 25. And chapter 25 is titled Ghost, Snake, Chainsaw. So, assuming then that, and Himeno's on the cover, or the frontispiece rather. So, Himeno then is the one with the contract with the Ghost Devil. So probably going to get involved and do something, even though she's close to death. And we have the flowers that she's holding, or like, I don't know, daisies or something. I don't know flowers. But the ones behind her are the spider lilies, or I forget their other name, right? Lycoris, right? So, those are the ones that like go at graves and stuff. So is this going to be a Himeno death? And also like the shading on the eye patch looks kind of like a heart. Lots of really cool stuff going on with the art. So is Himeno potentially going to die? Is maybe the person who showed up? Again, we'll have to see more panels of them. I said I couldn't tell if they were a guy or a girl or not, so I didn't want to assume yet. Maybe they're the one who has a contract with the Snake Devil, or maybe they're a fiend, or they are the Snake Devil themselves. Again, not 100% on how that works yet, just because we don't have a large enough sample size of people other than just like the normal ones who have contracts with devils, so we don't know if devils are all like crazy monstrous or not. Plus you have the people who are neither devil or human anymore, like the sword guy or Denji, and fiends like Power or humanoid. But I guess the fiends could look like anything really, since they're just inhabiting like corpses. They could always inhabit a non-human corpse. And that again makes me think, what's the Power backstory from before the Blood Devil took over the body that it's currently in? But either way, moving along, we have Aki's reaction to getting stabbed and falling to his knees. He's still alive. The Devil Hunter's suits are sturdy. Finish him off. And then, forget about me, says Himeno. Save Aki. There's no way. I didn't even see that guy move, says Power. Ghost? I don't want to. That girl, she's scary. Okay, so it is a girl. And then that girl, she's scary, says the Ghost Devil. And then a hand covers her mouth. It's her own as she's coughing up blood. Ghost, I'll give you all of me, so let me use all of you. And then it smiles. Aki can cry. And we have the Ghost Devil. Interesting. It's so interesting. Like, why choose these designs? We have the amalgamation of hands forming its legs, like a sort of main trunk of flowers. and then the smiling, sewn shut eyes and mouth. So interesting that this is what like the author's chosen to represent like Ghost, you know. Devil hunters get so used to the deaths of those close to them that they stop crying, but Aki is quick to cry. Even when newbies he'd been babysitting died, he'd cry in secret. That made him interesting. Having someone to care enough to cry for you must make a person happy. And then we see Himeno's arm go away, so assuming it was used up in order to fuel the ghost devil. And the ghost devil's able to stab through the abdomen of the sword guy. And he's getting overwhelmed by the arms. Hey, help me. It's funny because the sword guy is like, we introduce him, he's supposed to be really cool and all, but he's like, and he is cool, he was able to take down Aki and stuff, but we also see him just getting his ass kicked back to back. And he's asking for help. So I wonder, is this person going to be the snake devil? They lift up their left hand, and then we see the ghost devil's face pushing towards the sword guy to where the sword on his head is cutting into its forehead. And Himeno's other arm is used up. Don't you die, Aki. 'Cause when I die, I want you to cry. Snake, swallow it whole. And then we see, I suppose that's the snake devil. Again, it's so interesting looking. That's what's supposed to represent the snake devil. You'd think it would, with the exception of being like vaguely tubular shaped, I don't know, you'd feel like it would be more snake-like to like, because I feel like if you were scared of snakes, you wouldn't necessarily be scared of this thing. It doesn't look very much like a snake, you know? It doesn't have like the eyes of one or the scales. The head is shaped differently. So I feel like it doesn't really capture the fear of snakes particularly. But it's able to snap through the main bulk of the ghost devil, it seems, to free the sword guy. Return. And this is interesting because unless we can't see what the snake devil is using up from this girl, then is there a chance that there are people out there that have like basically completely subjugated devils to the point where like they work for them? Like, is it possible that this person just has the snake devil working for them? We see the shock on Aki's face, and then Himeno's clothes left behind as she's been used up. Alright. And both of the enemies still seem fine. The fiend ran for it. The fiend ran for it. Power got out of there. Our target is changed. Sorry. Like, it's so sad. It's so sad Himeno died. Himeno, I kind of felt like, I don't know. I kind of felt like maybe Himeno's days were numbered, you know? Just because, I don't know. Himeno seemed different than the other main characters, and you could argue there were a lot of death flags in like the Eternity Devil arc or whatever. So, like, it's really, really sad, but then I get thrown out of how sad it is by just Power booked it out of there. Our target is the chainsaw's heart. We don't need to pursue. And we have the ghost's hand pulling on the ripcord. And then waking Denji up. I'll cut him in two next. Don't damage his heart. So again, they need the heart specifically, which is Pochita. And he transforms into Chainsaw Man. I don't really get what your deal is, but I think I can safely say you jerks are bad guys. I love me some bad guys, 'cause nobody's gonna complain when I murderize them. I'll put you down a second time. And then we have the clash between the two of them. To be continued, and that's honestly a really good to be continued. And this seems like a volume end too, so that works. Because when we get down below the to be continued, I love the action pose, Pochita. But we have like the volume special stuff. Let's read the volume special stuff. It says all about power. So I guess, is this more of the backstory I was talking about? Oh no, it's 4 coma gags, isn't it? She's a pathological liar. I'm gonna have the Mappo eggplant. Me too. Mappo eggplant's been a favorite of mine ever since forever ago. In fact, it was a regular at a bunch of I was a regular at a bunch of Mappo eggplant places. And then, Mappo eggplant has eggplant in it? I hate vegetables. I'm not eating this. But you said you like Mappo eggplant. What? I never said that. Scary. 2, she's a show-off. I'm so good at baseball, I could go pro. And then she misses. 3, but she's actually a scaredy cat. I don't watch TV shows that have ghosts, because they aren't even scary. 4, she'll use your loyalty cards without asking. You used my loyalty card points, didn't you? Excuse you, I didn't do it. Die. 5, she's a racist. The human race deserves to be destroyed. They're all liars. 6, she'll drink your blood on the sly. You sucked my blood while I was sleeping, didn't you? Say what? I did not. She's just covered in blood. 7, she loves to kill bugs. Ants, 'tis a battle. Battle me. 8, she's cute and she knows it. Man, so cute. The best. Power is really the most entertaining character. Like, as much as I really like Denji, and I really like Aki as well. Like, I love both characters, but Power has just been the most entertaining to me. And of course, I really like Timino, and I'm sad that Timino died. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I'm sad, but that death doesn't necessarily surprise me. I'm sad, but not surprised. That was a really great 3 chapters, and a good place to end it on. We get to continue the battle next time, probably. It'll probably get interrupted, or it'll be one of those things that you see in Shonen all the time, where the bad guys show up, they do a bunch of damage, overwhelm the good guy, and then for some reason they're like, we have to leave now, and then they leave, and then the good guys are like, crap, now we have to train to get stronger to defeat these guys, or whatever. Probably something along those lines, if I had to guess. I'm interested in all the other groups that we saw get ambushed, if they're all going to be taken out. I'm interested in Makima now, because like I said, I didn't think she was dead. But this is all leading to something, and it just feels like we're on such a crazy pace, where so much just happens, and so much just happens, and we're already moving towards the Gun Devil stuff. But I know that Chainsaw Man is like 130-some chapters in, so I'm like, geez, we still have another 100-some chapters beyond this at the very least, so like, well, what on earth is happening from here? Yeah, it was incredibly fun, and I hope you all enjoyed watching. Thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of these chapters or my thoughts and reaction. If you want to talk down there in the comments, we can. If you want to talk on Twitter, just follow me there. If you want to talk on Discord, just ask and I can give you a link to the server. It's free and open for anyone. Yeah, I guess that's about it. If you want to subscribe for more, please do. Ton of other manga, everything else up here. And yeah, other than read-throughs, again, I say this with all the series that I do read-throughs of, like once we're caught up to it, it kind of leaves me open to do other videos like discussions and rankings and different stuff if I want to, like once we're caught up. So if you're interested in Chainsaw Man or more anime or manga or even webtoons and other things, check out the channel, subscribe if you want to. And if you want to help support monetarily, it would be very much appreciated. You can like super thanks down below, or you can become a patron or channel member, get a shout out at the end of every video. Huge thank you to them. You can go to patreon.com/HakuofTheTubes, or a link will be in the description, or you can hit join down below to become a channel member. Thank you to people who are already patrons and members. Thank you to chosen regulars Evan Holly, Magical Girl, FR Nono, and Huariyun, Cherryton student David Langstaff, and Slayer candidate SG. Massive thank you to all of them. Massive thank you to all of you for watching. So yeah, either way, that's it. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time.